Samach Gimel Amad Aleph. Tana. A little bit earlier. Gemara is asking a question now. Let's say there's a tiny bone. Is there also a din of likat atzamas legaba the avelas that has to be done? The Gemara Tana Kumchi Zira ain't sheer likat atzamas. Even a tiny dot, if you found a tiny bone, it already has a din of likat atzamas that you have to be noig avelas. Kado Rabban Hoyer the pill the kifra likroya that's abakrev acha. The gava kriyan avelas he passed like of acha. So he goes back in the old machlekes. But look at that summons. If it has to be, if it's an oran he had there before, after the orange it's shaykh like at that summons. So he said that legava this din kriyan is abul is like of acha. If it's orange eitz, you have to make kriya, you have to be noig avelas. Avelas shivas yom. Shaloi l'tamas krab yaisi. But the guy with the din that you're allowed to become tomei, a kohen is allowed to become tomei, say no. The yaisi says has no din likat atzamos. You're not allowed to become tomei for it because it's not considered likat atzamos. And a kohen cannot become tomei. Only if you actually do it with your hands. Then it's considered likat atzamas that you're allowed to become tomei for that. Ton likat atzamas in oymer aleim kinum v'nei in oymer aleim lo virchas avein v'techun ma'avein. He used to say on a mace, say hesped and crying, but you don't say anything of those. What means virchas avein? Sh'omar beis haknesses. He used to say a certain bracha in beis haknesses. What for? He used to stand in the shura, and everybody went through the oval and said him, Amokim Menachem Eschem, Ton Av Oimelem Devar, my Devar, one of the Kisram Kelusen. You say some shvachim for the mace. Some things you do say, but most of the stuff you don't say by the Kutei Atzamos. The mission said, Beshami said that the Geir, Shon's Geir, does not need Hazoy Shlishi Shvi, and if he is a guy of Erev Pesach, he can make the carbon Pesach. Where does he know it? From a pasuk Atem Shvichem. Ma Atem et Meisam Achen Snachten Lebris, Ashvichem and Tibah Shnechten Lebris. Just like you did not become Temei before you became Yidden. You don't find that the Yidden had any issue of Tumah when they made the Pesach in Mitzrayim. Because going is not Makabel Tumah. Ashvichem and Itmah Shnechten Lebris, who cares? That you captured a slave and you turned him into a yid. He's not Makabel Tumah, so he can make a pesach the day he became a ger. At time this, he learned the hekish that the goyish and the guy needs a zosh l'shishvi. One thing you can say now, but this is not a real drasha. The Omer of Chia by Yosef, Gidl by Yom, Shem Rav, Moed Silship over Zokstam Putz. It's only the Rabbanon that they made such a tekana that a goy cannot make a Pesach the same day. Okay, now comes the new sugi. Nazir shenitma b'safik shus ha'yachid. What's halacha nazir that became tomei b'safik shus ha'yachid? He went to shus ha'yachid and I'm not sure if he touched the mace. Oishi Rabba Amar nazir v'galeich. Ich am ein nazir v'galeich. So we know that din is safik tomei shus ha'yachid is tomei. But the Bechna said that's not enough to make a nazir, to make a geluach tumah, to bring karbanos. It doesn't have that koyach yet. And chanama is tomei, but in a nazir megalech. Now we have a tesefta. It says tesefta, as fake as beturim pesach shein. What does it mean? Heidun is suffix. Which kind of suffix is he talking? Hoishi Rabba Omar Hoishi the Pesach. He's talking about the story with the Gedi and the Tleh. That he forgot what the Rav said, and he shechted the Gedi and the Tleh. So the Mishnah says, even though you cannot eat anything, still you're part of Pesach Sheni. We explained before, we're talking here like Reb Nosson, it says, Chilas Pesachim Le'Ma'akve, and mainly even though Pshas HaShchita, they forgot already who gets what, it's still good that he doesn't have to make a pesach sheni. Yechan Omar Ahein Dahachel. Talking about Sufik Tumah Shizan Yosef, we just said that even though the Raisa is within Sufik Tumah is Tumah, but it's not enough to make him a new carb pesach. He doesn't have to bring a new pesach. Yochid Shenit Mesaf which is a Yochid of pesach. Oishi Rabba Omar Yich pesach sheni. The new time called Tumah Ramesh Raz Megalech Aleo. Base Mikdash Tumah Mesh Ein Raz Megalech Aleo Chovin Mikdash. The key the Raz Megalech Al Sov Tumah which is a Yochid, and Yochid Ikonis Lazar Las Pesach. So the point of Oishi is very simple. We just said before that Oishi holds the Raz Megalech. That means he cannot come to Beis Hamikdash. That means he cannot make a carbon pesach. So it's simple. He has to make pesach sheni. No. He holds that this. It sounds from the Yerushalmi. I'm not sure, but that's what it sounds. It's only the Rabbanan is doing a Sofik Tumash because with the rice, not Nazir Megaleach, and Mamela he can come into the Beis Hamikdash, and Mamela he's not potter from pesach rishon, so he has to run away somewhere. Like any tumah derabanan, it's also tumah derabanan. Because the Raisa, he is kosher. So the only way he can be exempt from Pesach is he should go away somewhere far. Now, a new thing. What happens if, let's say there's 100 people, and 100 Yidden, and that's the whole Klal Yisrael that's living in Yisrael, or that's not in Derech HaChoika, and 51 people became Tumah B'Sofik. All these 51 people stepped on a place and they're Sofik Tumah Rishon Yochid. They're not allowed to become Tumah Vadai. It's going to be Sofik Tumah Midaraisa is not a problem. So how can you make yourself Tumah Vadai? So they have to remain in a matzav of Tahara, at least in their Sofik, and that's how they're allowed to make the Pesach. No. Since he holds Midaraisa, Sofik Tumah is Tomei, so they're allowed to time themselves to his Vadai, and someone who to Mitzvah, they can make the Pesach with Tumah. The Gemara is going to say no. This is already going too much. After Boishi and Moedish Yais mistake. Amar Boishi El Lechumra. Boishi only said Lechumra that a Yochid cannot make it. Because Lechumra is considered like it's a Vadai Tomei. But to say that the Tzibur is allowed to be Metam themselves, Tumah's Vadai, to say such a Kula, that's going too far already. So we don't allow the Tzibur to be Metam themselves with his Vadai, if as of now the only Tomei to is Sofik. Reb Bana Yisrael Shor Mazen Olav. Where do we know that? Shekain Matzini Mishkila V'Sein B'Tzrayim Hazoya Reidam. The Gemara brings down above the Yevamis. We see that the Yidden went to Yisrael. They made the Hazoya even though they were still Reidim. The Gemara said they were Tmei Mesim, and they didn't do Mila until Yud Aleph, so it means that when they took the first Hazor, they were still a Reilim. So you see that Orul Mekabel Hazor. They went the yard and they passed the yard, and it was already the 11th day. So that's when they made the Mila, the 11th day, and the Hazor was done obviously on the 10th day, because that's the only way they can make Rikov Pesach. The 10th is the third day of Hazoya. Then you have 11, 12, 13, 14. The 14th day is the 7th day. Maybe they Manda Omer Basara Malu. It means that they passed the yard on the 10th day, and that's right after they passed the yard and they were mal. So it could be that they made Hazor right after the Mila, the 10th day. It means still, you still prove this point because the Meniya, it's interesting Allah here. If you hold that the Oral is not Mekabel Hazoya, the Oral has no right to make a minion of Hazor. And obviously they did make the minion of the first 3 days as Hareilim. So we see that the Oral is Mekabel Hazor. And nu Allah. Oral can be the one to make the Hazoya of the Efer Chatas. Tana Kain. Now it goes back to the Mishnah. Ra'ila Bishamai it should be, I made a silly mistake here. Raila Vishamai. It's a right of Vishamai that Akam is from the guy short Pesach. And that will is tired. You is a shame with Sweden Bishalayim, but told Achim Schen Arab. There were certain Roman legions that were watching there, and they would toivel and ate the Korban Pesach at night. So we see, like Vishamai, that a guy can be misguided himself and right away eat the Korban Pesach. Okay, Atkan.